Today was a special day for me. I got invited by my buddy to the Autobahn Country Club in Joliet, Illinois. It's about an hour from my house, and this country club is unlike a golf country club centered around motorsports and vehicles and racing. So some people have some really elaborate condos and garages here, as you can see, and workshops. One of the workshops is Eurosport. My buddy, another buddy, not the one who invited me, let me know that he'd have to show up here to get some work done on his Miata. So I met him there and admired all the cars as I was waiting for him to arrive. You can see they have quite an extensive um, set of cars, even just on display out here. But in the garages, there's even better stuff I'll show you in a minute. Anyways, eventually Justin arrived with his Miata. He had spun earlier on the track and needed some help with an alignment. So he was able to get slotted in pretty quick here at Eurosport, and they gave him some great last-minute service, if you will, so he can continue his track day. Meanwhile, I entertained myself by wandering around the garage and taking a look at some of the cars in here, especially these DTM Audi A4s. If you don't know about DTM, it is the top level of motorsport in Germany.
That's
Think of it
crazy.
as like NASCAR, but with the technology of Formula One or Le Mans cars wrapped around a sedan
Yeah.
body. You can see in this shot the
I guess
driver
they
is
drive
sitting
pretty nice,
closer
huh?
to the back seat than he is the front seat.
That's crazy.
The engines are pushed way back, everything's super low.
Yellow
The
one.
bodywork is not even
Sorry.
representative of a real Audi.
And I
It's
love
more
that
like just
green
a
911 at the top.
representation of what they want the car to look like. A little later on, I found this Corvette and BMW GS bike, which is a lot like mine. You've seen in other videos perhaps on this channel. But here comes Justin and Echo and Greg and some of my other buddies showing us our setup for the day. You can see we've got a pretty good setup here with the RV, thanks to Greg, and a whole bunch of our other club members here racing for the day. I did not do any racing today. I just stuck to touring laps at lunchtime. Um, my car is definitely not track worthy at this point, but it was still fun to look around and take on all the sights and sounds of Autobahn. The way the lunchtime touring laps work is members and their guests are allowed to take out their own personal cars. Street cars are fine, or race cars. Or if you're lucky, you can sign up for one of the dealership provided sports cars that they keep on site for guests and members to try out. I wanted to take my Camaro out to get some shots here and take it for a spin to begin with. But later on, I did get to drive the Lexus IS, although I did not get to film that. Waiting in line here for the green flag for touring laps. I ran into my buddy Kyle here who works here. He's here on the shot at the starting grid. He's a fantastic guy. Later on, as you can see, I was driving around, limited to 50 miles an hour behind the pace car. That white C5 Corvette in front of me did manage to spin his car even during these speed limited touring laps, so credit to him for giving it all he's got on touring laps. I was able to get the tail out a couple times myself, but had fun either way. Even with the speed limit, it's just fun to be on track and practice your racing line and hear the sound of that American V8 rumbling down the straightaway. And with those two cars pulling off the track, I am now in pole position for these touring laps. I rode around behind the pace car for a little bit and then got off the track myself to switch out for that Lexus IS dealership car, which was pretty fun. Headed back home, and a little while later I was walking along the street and I saw this parade of classic cars come by my neighborhood. I think it was a maybe Mexican Independence Day celebration parade, a group going to the parade, or maybe a quinceañera or something like that. So pretty cool to see this random collection of cars on the road near my house. Y'all have seen my paint. It's rougher than a stucco bathtub, but that's where it's at. Today I had had enough and I finally started to sand it all down, get it smooth again so we can hopefully repaint and try one more time to get it right. Got a couple more sands to go, but for now this is where we're at. I'll do another round of 320 grit and then a 400 grit, and then I'll give it a quick spray. I only sanded about half the car. I'm just trying to do a proof of concept here to see if this Rust-Oleum automotive enamel gloss white will be suitable and good enough for an entire car job later. But for now I'm going to try this and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I finished sanding the rest of the car like I said I was going to, and I went around the car piece by piece, sanding it, getting all that stucco finish down, getting rid of all the roughness, which was time consuming. I used a lot of 80 grit and then I think 220 grit and then 320 or 340 grit. Finally getting down to smooth surfaces again, and then some more paint prep and some more paint. So I rattle canned it this time. Originally, I was gonna rattle can it a long time ago before I even did the bad paint job, and to be honest I was just worried about the environmental aspect of all the cans that I'd be using and all the waste, and I tried to do something a little different or a little better, but the spray can didn't work out very well, and obviously you saw the results. So this is a little better, even though it is wasting a whole bunch of paint cans. I did get the hood pretty nice and the nose cone. I'll put a few more coats on the roof and on the sides just to make it a little glossier like the roof is, or like the hood is now, and then wait for it to cure and then sand it down too. So anyways, better than it was even just a couple weeks ago, which doesn't say much, but definitely making progress. In the meantime, while I've been waiting for paint to dry, I've polished up the rims, the actual rim of the wheels. They were pretty bad, so these are a little shinier now. And then next I'll be sanding down the inside of the spokes here, which are supposed to be white on this car. All of these sections right here are supposed to be white, plus the little lines right here, and a very thin rim around the outside. But definitely if I get these spokes, at least it'll be more factory correct right here, the inside of the spokes. And then this surface on the front, the edges of the faces of the spokes, those are supposed to be polished as they are now, or machined. So excited to get it all back together again, but just a little while longer and it'll be ready. Looking forward to getting it back on the road.
Well, here she is after a celebratory drive to my buddy's house with a celebratory burnout as well. As you can see, it looks a lot better. Of course, the raindrops and drops from me washing the car help mask any problems it might have, but way better than it was. It's pretty smooth. Wouldn't call it glossy, but at least it's smooth. And I'll be able to drive this for the next foreseeable few months at least and still be happy with it before I decide if I want to wrap it or go down another road. But happy that it's done for now, at least the paint. And I got to worry about these weather strip seals along the doors, scrapers, and a couple other little things. But stay tuned and you'll see more about it. Thanks for watching this update. I know it's kind of a mishmash of different things, but it's been that kind of a month.
I'll close things out by leaving you a couple pictures of some fun we had with this car at a country hoedown party my friend put on last week. Hope you enjoy.